Hey everyone, welcome back to a long-awaited episode of your favorite manifestation podcast, The Assumption of Fact, with your host, myself, Nikki, and the lovely Flossie. Today we're going to be talking about the difference in missing people, things, all those things, in desperation and lack, if there is a difference, and kind of help you gauge and navigate between those states. The reason I decided on this particular topic is because it was brought up a couple times, once by a friend that asked me if it was okay to miss her SP, and Flossie and I would both answer that with yes. Definitely okay. I miss Chris when he's not here, like if he goes out, has a show or something, and he misses me when I'm not around. That's normal in our relationship. The difference is the expectation. Like I miss him, but I know he's coming home. I know I'm going to see him later, right? Like I miss him in a way that is temporary. Like with knowing, having that quote unquote assumption that he's going to be here, right? And I think when some people ask me, it got me like thinking a little bit, and I'm not sure. I'm going to ask Flossie her thoughts on this. It got me thinking a little bit more, like when people are missing something because they have that assumption that something's going to return, or are they missing something because they're completely devastated it's not there and they're missing that person or thing because it may never return. Does that make sense?
It does, but I think that like if, someone's been in no contact with a specific person for a while or, a person that they have an emotional investment in, and then there to me, I think that there's a difference in between I'm never going to have it and feeling desperate
Mm-hmm.
and just missing them because maybe you haven't seen them in a couple of months or haven't talked in a few months or something like that. And it's normal to really miss somebody, but I think that you shouldn't have your self spiral because of it. If you're missing somebody or you're missing something, process the emotion that's coming with that in the easiest way possible for you, whether it's an FU letter and a command letter or doing EFT tapping or whatever, or just even crying or allowing yourself to grieve for a moment over not feeling that person's presence, but then, get back to the horse of telling yourself that it's yours, that it belongs to you, and thinking as if you have it already. And, I look at it as, yeah, I'm missing them, but that was so long ago because we're in a perfect relationship now where I was missing having, this activity in my life, but I have it now. So it just depends how long you're going to sit in it.
Right. It's all about the state of mind you're in that moment too, because that's really what matters, right? Is the state. It's normal to miss somebody, like you said. But I think a lot of the people are missing people from a state of mind, like my friend in particular. And actually, there was another person that brought it up this week, which is why it was a hot topic on my mind. They miss them in a way like they'll never have it. Like they miss them because they're like, oh man, they're out of my life forever, and I'm just completely devastated. And there is a difference in missing somebody because you feel like you'll never see them again or like they're gone. And there's a difference in missing somebody and knowing they'll return. And that's why it's really important what Flossie said, to get back out on it. Feel your emotions. It's normal. Feel your emotions. And it's normal to miss them even when you're affirming. And we're not saying that you have to not miss them. We just don't want you to be desperate about it. But that also,
Or
go ahead.
or like at the point of absolute devastation.
Right. Like somebody, like almost grieving it like somebody passed away or something. Like you don't want to be at that point. But this isn't just particularly for SP. Of course, we miss people, but I think there might be a fine underlining thing that when I coach people manifesting money, even, and maybe they had money at one point and they don't now, or maybe they just have had such a long idea of money, like traveling or, material items, things like that, that maybe they miss having or they really want, and they get into this desperation lack cycle of, oh, I'll never have this again, or I'll never be able to afford this. Or, I miss going on vacation. Of course, it's normal. Like if I work a lot, I'm like, oh, well, I miss vacations. What are those? But I know I'll be on vacation again one day. But some people are so devastated with their lack of not having something that they feel like they keep it out of reach from themselves. And that's what bothers me because I don't really, and I know you don't either. We don't know our clients or everybody's mindset 24/7. We
Mm.
only know what people tell us. We know what you guys come and tell us, and you're like, oh, I miss somebody. And that's such a vague thing. And I didn't really dive deep into it until I started talking about it with my friend. And I had to ask her, I'm like, wait a second, like from what state are you missing this person all the time? And it was from a state of complete and utter desperation and just devastation. And you got to pull yourself out of that. You really do.
You shouldn't let yourself necessarily sit there for a long time. Like, I know that we've talked a lot about individually and together that, like, when you're manifesting things that you have an emotional attachment to the outcome, in your mind you have it, in the 3D you don't, it can sometimes feel, uh, well, you can feel a lot of things during that process. You can feel like you're lying to yourself on the one hand, but on the other hand, it's like you don't have something that you really want, especially if you've had it before and you miss it. And a lot of times people don't process any of the emotions or thoughts that go along with that. Now, that's why we talk about like the FU letter, the resistance letter, EFT tapping, even just letting out the emotion. There's just a big difference in between I'm going to take a few minutes to process all these things that I feel and think and get them out versus stewing in it and then spiraling and just staying thinking like I'm really upset because I'm never going to have this and I really miss this thing, lifestyle, person, whatever that it is.
Right. And I think if you're somebody listening to this and you're struggling with something like that, and you're like, oh, I don't know which one I am or whatever, it really doesn't matter. What matters is you're not going to stew in it. What matters is you're going to remind yourself that it's coming, it's going to happen, mental diet, and you're going to get back right back to persisting and tell yourself it's yours, it belongs to you, whatever that thing is, whether it be money, trips, material items, or a person.
But there is a difference though between like I haven't had this experience for a while, so I do miss it and it makes
Mhm.
me sad versus I'm missing it to the extent of like I need it, like I need air to breathe and I'm panicking because I don't have it and I'm missing it to that extent. I think that's also where some of the difference is.
Yeah, because it's like you can miss something. It's like if you lose a loved one, if somebody passes away in your life, that's like a devastation. And that's a whole different story about manifestation. But, like when my dad passed away, that was a devastation to me. Like, oh my God, I will never see or talk to this person again. And that was devastating to me. But even then, I still had to come to terms with it and grieve it and move away from it. You can't live in that state forever, even when you are in desperation or when you are in that state of just despair. But I see these repeated cycles with some people, and I'm not calling anybody out if you're watching this, but I'm just saying I see these cycles in some people that it's just constant despair over and over and over again. And it's like, when are you going to let yourself stop and just live? And I'm not saying you can't have the person or you can't have the trip or the money or anything like that. But at some point, you need to look out for you. You need to just have that baseline of, okay, it's okay to miss things, but I'm going to still do me. I'm still going to live my life. I'm still going to go out with my friends. I'm still going to go out to dinner with my parents or whatever. I don't need my SP for those things, or I don't need tons and tons of money for those things. You got to find, I know we don't talk about gratitude a lot, but maybe when you feel like you're in that constant, needy, desperate state of not having something, maybe it's important to look at the things around you that you do have, be grateful for those so that you can pull yourself out of that state. Because I think that's a big thing with gratitude is pulling yourself out of that desperation.
Well, and I think that sometimes people forget that like I know that we're mostly probably referring in these conversations about, a specific person. And if it's someone that, if the SP is a person that an individual's had a relationship with and that relationship ends, it can feel as great of a loss as someone passing away. And,
Right.
and especially the more that they see it as a permanent. Um, and we're not saying don't try to get rid of some of that emotion and process some of it. But while anyone can manifest a specific person that they want, and we teach that, that's one of the things that we really talk about. don't put that person so high in a pedestal that they're so important to you that they are more important than you, that they are so important that you see them as important as the air you're breathing.
Right.
And sometimes that's hard for people, and that's sometimes an area where they get stuck because they see the specific person or whatever that they are manifesting as so important to them that they see it more important that than themselves, and they
Right.
kind of get lost in that.
Hmm. And then they keep it. I always think of the when you put the what is it, the rod on the horse with the apple to keep the horse moving. I feel like that's what they're doing with their SP. They put the SP is the apple and they just keep going to it, but they never catch the apple. You know what I mean? And it's like they just have that importance of their person so much that they're just always like 5 steps behind. They can't catch up to it because that person's just so much more important than they are. And we're not saying your person isn't important. That's not what we're saying at all. We're not saying they're not special and it's not a love, maybe we don't understand how great your love is for this person. But what we are telling you is that you need to keep the focus on that this person is not more important than you. You don't have them up here on this pedestal. You can be on the same pedestal, right? You need to put yourself up there too. You need to understand that missing them, and I agree with you, Flossie, that losing somebody, even in a relationship, can be as because I went through it when it manifested my SB, and I did that too. I was in that cycle, and I guess looking back now, I would be so devastated at times, missed him so much. And I think a lot of that was just lack. That missing was lack. It was like, oh my God, what if we're never together again?
But it also comes, I think, from a place of like, I need this in order to be happy, and I can't have happiness or any joy in my life without it.
That's true.
And so we're not saying that you can't manifest your SP. We're not saying that you can't have the exact person that you want. We're not saying that you have to let it go or anything like that. But what we're trying to tell you is it is helpful to, number one, not sit in this spot of, I need this person so much or this thing so much that I can't live or breathe without it, to, like, I'm the boss here. Like, I'm the manifester. What I want, that shit belongs to me. That shit belongs to me, period. And I'm choosing to be in like a reasonably decent state, like no matter what. If I need to process something, I process it, but then I get back to affirming and persisting for what I want and choosing to enjoy some aspects of my life while the 3D is unfolding. And so
Right.
that's where the difference is. There's some people who will like literally become the old cat lady clinging to, the SP like grandma clings to her sweater, or their manifestation like grandma clings to the sweater with 50 cats, and they won't live their life and they won't do anything fun and exciting. When we were spiritually asleep and we wanted something or something happened in our life, we didn't necessarily like stop living. And I think that when people discover conscious manifesting, they get so focused on what they're manifesting that they stop living. And because so much of their focus is on it, they put so much importance to it that that's why they enter these desperate states of like lack and being really upset and spiraling.
Right. So if you feel like you're in the desperate state or like you're putting too much focus on it, just reel it back. Do a little bit more self-concept. Do a little bit more things in the 3D for yourself. Not that you have to take action, but those actions for yourself. Go to the spa, get your nails done, watch Netflix, hang out with your best friend. Whatever that is, you're allowed to take action, live your life, and feel better about yourself or about your circumstances.
I do want to briefly add that one of the reasons why you and I talk about some of the tools to the extent that we do is because a lot of people have found that the more that they've used the tools, whether it's regularly affirming, whether it's the FU letter, command letter, EFT tapping, but especially the FU letter, is that they get rid of so much of the old story and the emotion that they have about the manifestation in the old story, that they just feel better about it in general, and they just don't feel as desperate, and they start to feel more like, this is mine, it belongs to me. um and being thinking that way, and choosing to be in that state of mind, like, this is mine, it belongs to me, really helps with not spiraling, not feel desperate, not feel lack. And when you miss somebody, you miss them or the item or whatever it is, just because you're noticing at that moment that it's not there, not from like, I'm devastated because I need this to breathe. I think
Exactly.
that to me is how I understand the difference.
No, I totally agree with you. I just think some people need to hear it, that there is a difference and that they shouldn't put so much importance on their SP.
Or whatever it is that they're manifesting.
Right,
We
anything.
can enjoy life while life is unfolding. And, I think that's part of what the journey is the unfolding process. And sometimes I think the manifestation journey, because we're so focused on the end, that some of us stop enjoying the unfolding process that would have normally happened when we were spiritually asleep, like when we would get excited
Hmm.
that somebody was texting us or that we were getting this or we were seeing evidence or movement on that, we would start to get excited and we would remain hopeful, where now it's like, where's the whole thing?
Right, right. Sometimes when I see people in those desperate states, like more so friends, whether they're just opening up to manifestation, they know about it or they're whatever. I just say go back to how you were before you were awake to manifestation. Just be optimistic. If you got to take a step back, it's not going to ruin your manifestation. I'm not saying don't persist or anything, but I'm saying maybe just dial it back a notch. Focus on your self-concept a little bit more and just think more optimistic about SP, but don't go so hard about SP that you're rampaging 50 times a day and your entire day is focused on this manifestation. There's a difference in being obsessive about something and persisting. So you got to find that happy medium for you because everybody's a little bit different. If you find yourself spiraling or thinking a lot of negative thoughts about this person, just dial it back a little bit. Do some more FU letters.
Exactly.
So I know that we kind of went on and on about that, and we're not trying to discourage you from SP or anything or saying that missing them's wrong. We're just saying don't stay in that state too long. Pull yourself out of it. So
Pull
we will,
yourself out so you can get back to getting what you want. And life isn't meant to be miserable because we're manifesting what we want. It's supposed to be enjoyable.
it's a journey. It's fun. This is a lifestyle, not a magic trick.
Hmm.
So you want to make sure that you're
It
persistent
seems
and
like
correct.
magic.
No, it does sometimes. Geez, sometimes it does. But yeah, it can be magical if you chill. Oh, I don't endorse Coke, by the way. Let me cover this up. They're not sponsoring me.
Neither is Snapple. No, just kidding. You
No.
can't even see the bottle
Yet.
because whatever.
We're gonna have NASCARs. All right, guys. We will see you on the next podcast. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.